Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Sixers head coach Brett Brown joins us. Coach, we were just talking music to start the show. Who controls the music in the locker room with the Sixers?
I think Joel Embiid and Ben sort of are the resident DJs as it sits in Philadelphia.
But I thought Redick is an actual rapper. So I would think that J.J. Redick would have seniority and the fact that he is a rapper.
He's got a strong presence for sure, and I bet he has more of a say than I am aware of. But yeah, no, we let him have fun. The locker room has a good vibe to it.
If I let you control the music, what are we listening to?
I'd go to old Dire Straits or old Bruce Springsteen. I think Migos probably rules the day in our current locker room, but I go back to my roots and some, old Dire Straits, Mark Knopfler, and old Bruce Springsteen are my passion. Maybe some Rolling Stones.
Have you seen Springsteen?
Oh, yeah.
Stones?
Amazing. I was just in New York a month and a half ago, and just to sit here, and it's sort of like you're in a living room with him, and he tells his stories, and he connects it to songs, and I followed him for, 3.5 decades, so big fan, and I just find him amazingly entertaining because he's still so fit. He's in incredible shape. He drinks, water after water after water, and he brings it. He just has amazing energy. And so, yes, to your question, I saw him a month and a half ago in New York.
Oh, that Broadway show.
Yeah, amazing,
great.
Dan. It's like you're in a living room with him. There's 700 people, and you just sit and let him talk, and it's very interactive.
Maybe inviting him to a game. I mean, he lives an hour away.
Yeah, well, I know Coach Riley, back in his Heat days, was very connected. I mean, with Clarence Clemens before Clarence passed away, and the boss and Coach Riley had a connection. That's not a bad idea. I would, if he came, I'd let him draw up the first play.
Well, how tough would that be? Either get it to Embiid or let Ben Simmons take it, right?
Yeah, touche.
Yes.
At times it's not much more complicated than that.
Okay, but let's go back because people forget what you went through, and we had you on during this process. Did you ever have one of those, or the last time you had one of those moments where you just, it got to you, where you just said, I just don't know if I'm going to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I mean, during the 10-win season, and, you'd lost 26 in a row, and we had multiple injuries, and we really haven't had much good fortune here in Philadelphia with our first draft picks, either playing at all for an entire season or staying healthy for the large majority of it. I think during that period of time, you wondered, times was it something that you thought you were signing up for? And we all sort of have a coaching mortality. I'm the son of a coach, and so you recognize, the industry. And, yes to your question, of course. And I did feel comfortable and confident we were working on the correct things, my version of what I think a culture is, but it wouldn't reflect like winning and losing, which is what everybody sort of looks at. At times you would, have some late nights. But when the last time I spoke with you compared to where we are now, that seems like a long time ago.
You went from 10 to 52 wins in 2 years. I mean, that's pretty incredible there. Did you ever worry? Did you ever think you were getting fired?
Oh, yeah. You always thought about it. Like, I think the relationship that I had with the owners in regards to what the plan was, like they brought me into New York City 5 years ago, and they said, this is our wish. How do we rebuild a culture? How do we start from ground zero and rebuild it? And at that stage for me, I was, 53 years old, and I'd been lucky to be with Pop for 12 years and seen what, 5 championships look like, and was a head coach for 17 years prior. I had a strong opinion of what I thought a culture should look like. And so, we were able to walk some stuff down along the path. There were definitely some rough bumps. But I did feel connected with the vision. I felt connected with the owners, and they, to their credit, Josh Harris and David Blitzer have delivered on what they told me they were going to do. And so here we are.
Let's get to the business now. You got the Heat tomorrow night. Joel Embiid's status for Game 1 is?
He will not play in Game 1.
Okay.
He will not play in Game 1, and from that point going forward, we'll figure some stuff out. But unless something remarkable happens, Dan, I don't plan on him playing in Game 1.
Markelle Fultz and how much he plays. How do you lean on him?
Yeah, probably in the same capacity that I've lent on him since he has come back. The decision for him to return, is he going to help or hurt the team? He's 19 years old. He hasn't played NBA basketball. The risk-reward was always present. You had to make a decision, and I felt like the reward was going to tilt over the risk. And we've been proven right. And so I feel like I'm going to continue on with how I've played him, primarily as Ben Simmons' backup point guard. And, judge it from there. He had a triple-double the other night. I think he's trending in the way that we had all hoped, albeit very late in a very serious part of the NBA season. But I intend on using him going into the playoffs that way.
Why is it feels like we still are missing a chapter in this book on Markelle Fultz with his shot?
I think ask that question differently. I think I know what you're saying. Ask it differently, please.
What don't I know?
I think you do know. I think everybody searches for like this clandestine, conspiracy theory, and it's clear he was injured, and his shot, took a hit. I'm sure there were times that he was aware of that in his mind. He's the first player chosen. Philadelphia isn't sort of a warm and fuzzy marketplace. And I think it's just like human nature exacerbated by a injury to his shoulder. And the good news is, out of all the years that I've been coaching, I've been doing this a long time, that the human side of this story is incredibly endearing to me. He's a remarkable person. Like you want to hug him as much as you want to coach him. He's just really good people. And so to fast forward, and go through all the stuff he went through, and now he's playing NBA basketball. In his last, game, he had a triple-double, the youngest in the history of the NBA. Like, those are the memories, Dan, that I would like the marketplace to hear, and that's the truth. That's how the whole thing sort of unfolded.
Yeah, I felt bad for him that this video, almost like surveillance video of his shot, and then it came out, and then I was saying, gosh, I just hope you guys shut him down so he's not subjected to this, because it felt like he lost confidence in that shot. And you can even watch him, as great as he is to get a triple-double, I'm still looking at, do defenses respect that jump shot right now? And they probably don't.
Yeah, and, that's all fair. I hear you, and I think that's all fair, and so be it. It's and the NBA playoffs are so incredibly different than the regular season. To beat somebody 4 times and have to game plan. Each game gets a little bit more granular, and the secrets become less and less. And so, the judgment of how they guard Markelle or Ben, we're going to see some stuff. It's different than rolling into a city, in an 82-game regular season. And we will learn. But given where he was and given where he is, we're very happy both for him and for the organization. He has helped this team.
Well, congrats. You don't strike me if you were on Pop's staff of caring about awards, so hopefully you get strong consideration for Coach of the Year, but more importantly, good luck in the playoffs.
Nah, thanks for having me, Dan. Good to speak with you.
All right, that's Brett Brown, the Sixers head coach.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.